Welcome back, folks. This is Zach Greenfield. Welcome to Quick and Dirty Marketing. And if you stumbled on this video, this is actually like the 8th video in a series of videos where we're covering SEO basics for folks just like you that are, trying to grow your business, trying to get more ranking, more traffic on your pages. And what I'm doing is sharing some sort of basic stuff that you need to know and that we would certainly do for all of our clients. So today, and the reason you want to watch this is we're going to go over one of the things that almost everybody that has a website could take on themselves, and that is on-page SEO. So this is actually working on your website. So even if you have somebody else that's helping you with it, understanding this stuff is really important to make sure that they're doing a good job or that whatever you're paying for, you're getting value for. So let's dig into it and get started. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about on-page SEO today. And this is all about really getting your pages and content to rank and behave well as they're crawled by Google's algorithm for indexing in search. Now, I can tell you that there's a lot of elements that go into this, and there's all these different pieces to your page and a lot of areas to focus on. But on a high level, I want you to start with the first premise, which is that if you're actually talking about your topic or your service and you're just, the content is targeted at your niche and your target audience, it's pretty likely that you're doing fairly well with on-page keyword density and relevancy, right? So the algorithm is going to look at your pages for its relevancy against search terms that Google may return your pages for when somebody is looking for whatever the topic is, right? And I think where people spend a lot of time focused on this, and it is really important, it also naturally occurs when you're publishing and doing a good job with putting out content on a regular basis. Now, there are some cases where you might just have kind of a static website and you're not putting out a lot of content, and you want what's there to be as best as possible because you're not going to be backfilling all the time with additional relevant content. And in that case, you definitely want to zero down into these couple of things that we're going to discuss and make sure that you're pretty, pinpoint sharp on all of them. So let's just start with the first bit of stuff to deal with. And that is your titles and your title tags and so forth on the site. Your H1 and title tags really need to be appropriate, and they need to speak to what the topic is that's on that page, right? In a clean way. So they need to have, typically a keyword mention or a core keyword in that title. And in some cases, if you have additional pages, you can even do pages with longer tail keywords that are easy to compete for. We've discussed that on another video, right? So this is all tying together with other stuff that we've done here on the channel. And then you kind of go down from there and you have your body content and your images, right? One of the things we do see a lot of here is when, if somebody brings us a website to sort of work on or fix, is images won't be tagged properly with alternate text, and just remember that on images, the algorithm can't see the images like a human being. So the algorithm will look at the images associated data. And that usually comes in the form of an alternate text tag, which theoretically, if for some strange reason the device that somebody's using couldn't load the image, the little text would say, picture of a cat or whatever that photo is. So you want to make sure that your image tags are all there and that the images are relevant to the story or the content, and the keyword effort that you're putting forth. It doesn't mean to go hog wild and just tag every image with your keyword, because that can kind of backfire on you. But within reason, and truthfully, I think the other thing too about, SEO that's important to understand now is that Google's done such a good job with, implementing artificial intelligence, and they've had a lot of time now to get this thing working pretty well. So faking them out and trying to game the system really doesn't work well anymore. I think in the past, we used to be able to get away with some of that stuff, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Algorithm was a little bit easier to manipulate. Now with, semantic programming, contextual programming, artificial intelligence, and some really like sort of high level stuff that's built into this thing, you're not going to get away with just like padding in a bunch of BS and thinking that's going to game your page up above some of your competitors. So that brings me back to the beginning of what I was open this conversation about is, if you're actually doing your job and presenting your product and service to your relevant audience, and you're talking to that audience in your content, the way you write, the way you speak, the way you title things, and all of that on your website, you're probably about 95% of the way there to cleaning up your on-page SEO. It goes without saying, this is also partly a scrub job, right? Not to have duplicate pages, incomplete, sentences and thoughts, poor grammar, keywords that are, long tail keywords that are disconnected and things like that. You really want to just go through, and it's really kind of, as much as this is an SEO job, it's also kind of an editing job of making sure that your content is clean. Now we can put some numbers around things real quickly here for keyword page density. And the general rule is still around 0.5% to 3% of the total text would be your keywords that you're targeting. The cool thing about the way the algorithm works now, though, is you can use synonyms and, alternate contextual descriptions, long tail keywords, and some of the things we've discussed on our other videos to enrich in that content for relevancy. It also, and this was been one of Google's goals, is that the content is more readable from a human standpoint, and more, it doesn't just sound like you're repeating yourself with the same terminology, right? You can use your natural, the way you would describe something by using synonyms and other language to describe the product or service that you're hoping to rank for. And the cool thing about the algorithm is it basically understands that now in a contextual sense, and that will actually help the relevancy and also help with the algorithm understanding that the page is authentically about this content, right? It's not just like a gamed page. So you're safe in doing all the things you would do if you're just trying to explain it to one of your customers, prospects, clients, or whomever you're hoping that would visit your website. So just on a checklist basis, anything that's missing, duplicate, truncated, cut, or that just needs cleanup and editing, you need to fix that stuff. And, you want to make sure that you've done your keyword research, what we talked about on another video, and you know what you're trying to put in and what these pages are trying to rank for. So go ahead and attack it fairly scientifically, but don't overload that effort and kind of blow out the readability, contextual relevance, and human digestibility of your content. Right? Don't just throw all those important things out the window so you can play this keyword game on your pages, because it's going to fail for two reasons. One, the algorithm's smart to sort of sniff that out now. The other thing is nobody wants to read, sort of Frankenstein context, Franken context. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to read that stuff. So even if they get to the page because it ranked, they're going to get there and be like, who wrote this, a third grader? So still shoot for high quality content, well-written content, and then go back and see if you can tune in the proper keyword density. There are tools online, of course, that can analyze your content for keyword density, and those are out there, and you can do a search for that. I'm not going to plug anything here on my channel, but they're out there. We certainly use tools like that when we need to do quick analysis. So go check some of that stuff out if you need a little help and you want to put some more numbers around what you're trying to do. And outside of that, You know, this is one of the important parts about building your website, is to make sure that you have clean content for your customers. So go ahead and dive into it. Get your stuff where it needs to be. Make sure you check every page. Delete pages that you're no longer using or that aren't relevant or don't carry current content or aren't current for your products and services anymore. Just clean that stuff up, right? Do housekeeping. That's basically what on-page SEO and content management is all about. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like it. We drop a video every week, so hit the alert, and of course you'll get notified when we do another one. We'll see you then.